Hey gang, Kara again. I'm dogless. The dog has abandoned me. We're going to work on page 15 without the dog today. Oh Susanna. Okay, first of all, let's tackle the tab. Remember what I said the last time about pickup notes. We've got pickup notes again. We're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 0, 1. Okay? All right, we're going to play this together. I've got the metronome set on 72, and we're going to use the metronome as a quarter note beat, meaning that each one of the numbers that we play here is going to fall on a beat. There's not going to be any missing beats in between. Okay, you'll see what I mean here in a second. Let's just jump on this one and see what happens to us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Fluid strums. Last line of the tablature. Okay, let's talk about a couple of things. Sometimes you might hear my fingers sliding. I'm using one finger to do this. You can be using multiple fingers. Just remember what I said in a couple of lessons ago. If you use multiple fingers, always keep them just spidering like this. Don't ever be crossing them over like you're running very inefficiently up and down the fretboard. Okay, keep that in mind. Now when I use one finger, I usually maintain a little bit of pressure on the string as I'm going from one fret to another. Now I don't want you to get all hung up on this and think that this is the way that you have to do it. But if you happen to hear that, listen to what I'm talking about. When I go from 2 to 4, okay, I don't go 2, lift up, 4, okay? Now, when I slide like that, that's what gives it a more of a fluid sound. Let me play that first line for you, and I'm going to pick my finger up every time I have to move it to a different fret, and listen to what it's going to sound like. Now listen to it if I keep my finger with a little bit of pressure each time I'm moving it, and I'm just sliding it up and down the fretboard. Sounds a little smoother, doesn't it? Okay. So keep that finger down, keep a little bit of pressure. If you're pushing too hard when you go, say, from a 4 to a 2, if you're pressing too hard, it's going to slow your finger down. You don't want that to happen. Just make enough contact to where you can keep your finger on the string and make a sliding motion. And then press down when you get to that fret that you're wanting to strum. So I hit my 4, I let up a little bit, slide down, press down on my 2. Not this. That's what makes it sound really choppy. Okay? Hope that makes sense. As always, find me on social media. Ask me those big questions. All right. Now, if you want to add some boom ditties to this, and I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit because on page 19 we start talking, actually not on 19, as early as page 17 we're going to start talking about the option of putting boom ditties in. I'm going to go ahead and play Oh Susanna though with some optional boom ditties. So you can see what this can sound like if you loosen up and let that arm swing, okay? I'm going to play it faster than I want most of you to play it right now. Don't think you need to be at this level. This is just for those folks that have been playing stringed instruments for a long time and they're picking the dulcimer up for the first time and they're getting bored, okay? Those of you that are starting from scratch, do not attempt this at home. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. because some of those notes I was hitting on a more of a syncopated. The word syncopated is basically a big word for when you hit and emphasize a note that falls on an and beat instead of a note that falls on a numbered beat. Okay, don't think too hard about that if you're not ready. If you are ready, that will make sense. If you're not ready, you don't need to be ready for that yet. All right, let's talk about the words down here at the bottom. Try strumming each chord one time to practice your chord changes. That's really good advice. Who wrote this book anyway? Now, we have, on the second line of our lyrics, and the third measure, we have 2 chords in 1 4-beat measure, okay? So we're going to go true love 4 to C, okay? Each one of those is going to get 2 beats because each measure gets 4 beats. Let's take it a little bit faster that. La, 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 la. I'm going to guess that I'm up around 100 again. I'm at 96 and we're going to leave it there. Okay, we're going to strum each chord one time. Remember, each one of these sections is a 4-beat measure. So some of these chords are going to get played 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. You're going to have 2 chords in 1 4-beat measure. Here we go. And again, the word well I, those are like pickup notes. 1, 2, well I come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. I'm bound for Louisiana. Here we go. My true love 4 to C 2 3. It rained all night the day I left. The weather it was dry 2 3. The sun so hot I froze to death. Susanna, don't you cry 2 3 4. Oh Susanna, now don't you cry for me 2 3. I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. All right, let's talk about some stuff here. A, I left off a D strum. I totally just spaced it because I was thinking about something else. And that's a way for me to remind you, try to stay focused when you're practicing. I need to try to stay focused when I'm doing these videos for you. So anyway, if you strum a D and I don't, I'm the one making the mistake, all right? I wish I did that on purpose, but I don't. It just happens. Happens to all of us. Another thing to think about. When you go from a D to an A, and you know you're going to go right back to that A, don't play that D and then bring your hand over here like I sometimes do, and then go, hey, there's the A. Leave your hand just kind of hanging up right above where that A is going to fall. So, in other words, for my true love 4 to C, like that. Not my true love 4 to C, or my true love 4 to C. It takes too much time. Keep your hand hovering right above and your fingers getting ready to play the next chord. Okay, that makes sense? All right, let's go ahead and do some boom ditties on this. Again, this is advanced stuff, but I'm going to throw it at you anyway. My true love 4-2, Susannah, don't you, banjo on my. Those are the 3 measures I see right now where we've got 2 chords. When we do a boom ditty with 2 different chords, the first one gets a boom ditty, the second one gets a boom ditty. So in other words, it's 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Okay? Let's go ahead and do 4 strums per measure first, and then we'll do boom ditties. Okay, here we go. 4 strums per measure. 1, 2, well, I come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. I'm bound for Louisiana, my true love 4 to C. It rained all night the day I left. The weather, it was dry. The sun so hot some boom ditties on these. Boom diddy, boom diddy, boom diddy, boom. 1, 2, well, I come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. I'm bound for Louisiana, my true love for to see. It rained all night the day I left. The weather, it was dry. The sun so hot I froze to death. Susanna, don't you cry. Oh Susanna, now don't you cry for me. For I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. Okay? Now once again, gang, can't say this enough. Some of these boom ditties, turning those quarter note tablature notes up there at the top into 2 ditties instead of a single boom, that's all really advanced stuff. And I'm kind of like arguing with myself that I should even be showing you that at this point. But I think some of you can handle it, because I think some of you have probably played stringed instruments before. And I think that some of you need to stay with me and just build a solid foundation and don't jump ahead. So if I'm doing anything that's intimidating to you on these pages, in terms of these away backs and down ups and turning booms into ditties and turning quarter notes into eighth notes, which is the same thing as turning a boom into a ditty, just ignore it. All right, it's not important right now. Okay, when I teach big group classes, I've got some folks that have played stringed instruments all their lives and they're just raring to go, and they already have this down-up motion with their guitars or their banjos or their ukuleles. They've already got all this skill set built up. They just need to learn how to put it on another instrument. Some of you have never done that at all, and you need to not even pay attention to this advanced stuff that I'm tossing in here on these first few pages, all right? I'm going to catch you up slowly, so be patient with me, okay? All right, gang, that's all the yakking I'm going to do for now. You guys have fun with this song. Remember to go slow, and I'll see you again when we tackle page 16, Boil That Cabbage Down. Because if you don't teach the song Boil That Cabbage Down to beginners, they will take your teaching license away from you. It's really not true, but it ought to be. Okay, thanks, gang. I'll see you next time.